Hello and welcome. This is a new session of my Less Stress in Leadership with BeeKonnected show. And today I have a very interesting guest of Laura Lee Kenny. I'll introduce her in a second. Uh, First, I just want to say my name is Dr. Annika Sorensen. I live in Sweden and this is my show. And I work with stress management, but I'm not going to talk so much about what I do and so on. You can see on the left hand side on the screen, there is a link to my Be Calm leadership group. And that's where this is going. That's where you have a recording of where I am talking about why I'm doing this show and who I am and so on. So if you join my group, you can come and see that, and all the other replays, and the replay of this will also be up there after this show. But now I want to introduce Laura Lee, and I'm gonna tell you about her. She is a VIP Elite 100 BeeKonnected expert coach. She's the CEO of Blue Diamond Club LLC. I don't even know what that means. Founding member with More Value Now. Um, CEO of Be Financially Creative Nonprofit Ltd. 3 times international best-selling author about finances. So she knows about the money. She was a certified financial planner for 25 years. On her third pivot with more drive than ever before. She has a passion to teach financially literacy, mindset, and passive income streams. That's good because we need a lot of more of that in the world. She is a level 2 Reiki practitioner for over 35 years. Year 1 Eden Energy Medicine practitioner and lifelong learner. That's a good thing. Her nickname is Medicine Woman. She is one of 12 children. Wow. She's the number 3. She has her mother hen personality too often, she says, by when she presents herself. She's been married for 47 years, has 2 adult children, Lyle and Christina, and 2 granddaughters aged 17 and 12. You have a great background, Laura Lee. Now, let me I want to let you tell you a little bit about who you are and what's your business is and where you are now.
Well, as you commented about the extremely large family, and there was no twins, and it was the same mother and father. I'll say we were a very pioneer type family. I grew up in rural New Brunswick, Canada, and I still live in a rural New Brunswick, Canada area, different community than before. Pioneer life is struggling lots of times. And we grew up with a little hobby farm and many things along that line. I was blessed to be able to learn the way the school system generally taught children. In a lot of cases, they're still teaching them that way. So I didn't fall through the cracks like a lot of children do. If they learn differently, so I was blessed that way. So I was a bit of a bookworm, to say the least, and a mother hen for sure. Did a lot of things like babysitting at extremely young age. Even one time when I was 12 in the summer months, my mom sent me to look after her cousin's 4 children. The mom was stressed out and left 4 children under the age of 6. And the youngest one was 2.5, and she had been severely burnt 90% of her body. and I needed to take care. That child needed to be bathed twice a day. Um, and I did everything for 6 days a week. Everything except I didn't go and buy groceries. That's the only thing I didn't do for the family. And I got Sundays off and I got paid $20 a week. So
That's great.
and I couldn't wait to spend that $20. I remember one time I was walking down one week and I lost the money out of my pocket because I didn't even have a purse or
Oh,
a wallet
wow.
to put it in. And I was crying. I remember being so upset over that. When I was 15, besides going to school, I was offered a job at a local grocery store in the bakery. Now, my immediate boss knew that I wasn't 16. I didn't have a SIN number. So he suggested that I change the year on the application, which I did. I corrected it later on. But I was working where I get paid from them at the age of 15 on the evenings and weekends. And I also was the youngest cosmetic consultant for a skincare company um, in the history of the company. And I
Wow.
wasn't your typical 15-year-old, but because we were so poor, mom used sunlight soap, and that's like a bar of yellow soap, and it stays really hard, and it's probably pure lye, and they used it to wash your clothes. There was a scrub board you used in your so it was pretty strong stuff. And you could just do like this and flake the skin off me. So anyway, when I got a chance to have a product like, I don't even know how I got a chance to try this beautiful skin cream to wash my face. I was in heaven. I couldn't afford it. They offered me a job doing it. And I had a blast for 25 years. I didn't just sell skincare. I sold empowerment to women. I knew enough that it wasn't just selling lipstick,
No.
although that's what other people thought I did. But I was extremely good at doing a natural look. And later on, I was able to do quite interesting things with cosmetics. So it was a lot of fun. I had a blast. And before I retired from that, I had 123 representatives underneath me.
Oh, wow. That's
Yes.
a large, huge
Yes.
group. And then,
Yes,
of
it
course,
was.
you knew your stuff that you were selling, and you
I
knew it.
did. I lived and breathed it. I
Yeah.
love skincare. I just love what it did for my skin because even though I was very young when I started, we had a wood stove, which is very drying to the skin.
Mm.
And living in Canada, it can be some very harsh climate in the winter time. You live
I
in
know.
Sweden,
I live in
so you
Sweden.
know what it's like to live in north of the equator in the winter times. So I just loved it. I really, really did. Unfortunately, I got hurt in a car accident when I was 35, and I had just recruited the majority of probably 100 of them. I had gone on a campaign I wanted to have a car.
Mhm.
And my husband was a trainee he's a station engineer at the power plant, but he didn't make very good money. He had a full-time job. He did, and we lived with what we could then, because there was no such thing as credit cards, which
No.
helped more people out than it hindered, let me tell you, as I've learned later in life. But anyway, so I went on that and then I got in a car accident. It should have just been minor, but unfortunately, the physiotherapist was out at the local hospital to do it, and they had other people doing his position, and they were making me worse. And I stopped like
Oh.
3 times. He came back and he says, "For God's sakes, what are you doing to that girl? You're making it worse." And kept re-injuring my neck. And I ended up with such severe whiplash that anyway.
Oh. Oh.
So during that time, I like in the recovery, it took much longer for recovery. that I wasn't able to really work with that. And someone came to the house and wanted to sell me, wanted to see if we would do investments with them. And she told me these things. Now, in school, they used to teach you some very valuable things. They used to teach people home ec, which I never got because I was in the academic classes, but they taught me how to do income tax. And so I knew about income tax, and what she told me, some of the things she told me, I went, "No, dear, I don't think you have that right. I don't do what you do, but that doesn't seem right." Anyway, she goes to her boss and then calls me and says, "You're right. I was misinforming you of," because she had tried to tell me that we could invest $18,000 a year um, into our RSPs or spousal RSPs. And we couldn't because my husband had a pension, but she was forgetting to take the pension off. And she would have got us fined a huge amount from Revenue Canada for putting in way too much because you're only allowed to do $2,000 over what you
Okay.
have room for.
Hmm.
Anyway, so she said, "Well, since you already understand some of this, would you like to talk to my boss?" Anyway, I go to a meeting. I'm thinking I'm just going to learn more. And they liked how I looked, how I sounded, and they offered me a job. And lo and behold, decades later, I did that.
So it was more like an what you say, an opportunity, or
Oh, it was an opportunity that I
just
didn't see.
random
Yeah,
from.
I didn't see it coming, but it was interesting when that opportunity came. I was like, well, I was looking at, starting back up with the cosmetics again, and the exchange rate had changed so much from used to be Canada's dollar was worth more than the US dollar, but then it switched. And in the 90s, it was 52 cents on the dollar. Believe it or not, it was just crazy. And the price of the products, like instead of something being $100, it would be $153 for the same
Yeah.
amount. Anyway, so I thought, well, I could try this. The 3-year period where I was laid up from the age of 35 to 38, we had gone into debt $20,000 more than before. We hadn't put any money away because I wasn't earning any money because I wasn't a good manager. I didn't know enough how to manage the other representatives to encourage them to work when I wasn't working.
Yeah.
So that all had, like it was like I'm starting over. And I thought, well, I really need to learn a lot more about money. So why not give this a shot?
Yeah, and
And
you had the advantage, because I think that's what it is, that while you were poor, when you with your family, and you had the worth of money was something that you could kind of feel in your hands, because you had been having to save enough, or to be spare, to not waste it when you were
oh,
younger.
you're right. Well, it's interesting though. A lot of poor people can waste a lot of money in addition,
Yeah, of
but
course they can, but I
if they
think if
want anything, they have to set goals and say, "I want to do this." And I would do that with my husband and I. And as you can tell, I was married very young.
yeah.
To be married 47 years to the same person. Some
Yeah.
people can say they've been married 47 years, but it's generally not always the same person. So we're either both stubborn as heck.
I'm just on 35 somewhere around with the same man.
Yeah, congratulations. Yeah. Now, Donna, I remember Donna Eden used to say this. She still says this comment. She said, "Thank God I didn't divorce him when I should have." Because they're at such a great period in their life right now. And I can honestly say that I'm blessed. It hasn't always been easy. That's for sure. Any relationship
Yeah,
generally has multitudes of ups and downs, and
absolutely. That's life.
we've certainly had them.
Yeah. Now, if we look forward, when did you get in contact with BeeKonnected and
Ah,
why?
and why? Well, it was interesting. For me, I'd had a download here a few years ago, and I was kept hearing this, I'll say voice, although it wasn't loud or anything, but I kept hearing this being said to me, you need to teach financial literacy to young adults. And I kept hearing it. And my husband said to me, but I thought you were going to get ready to retire soon. I said, I thought so too. And it was interesting because it was on International Women's Day 3 years ago. And I was like, oh, I don't know. I had been secretly doing that because I thought, oh, in order to change some things, if we can change people's minds, their practice when they're much younger, it's so much easier than to take somebody my age and say, okay, yeah, now you need to change some mind shift things. You need to start doing some things differently. It's extremely hard, as you would
Mhm.
know, being a doctor.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm,
Absolutely. The sooner, the better. The earlier, the better. Absolutely.
yes. And so I thought, um, I did it secretly, like I said, with with a few students, but I could only do it if the parents came, and it was done after class, and and I only got access to students that were grade 12. It was on the premise to get them prepared so that they don't go to the university and be there. And the first thing that's handed to them is a credit card application, and they don't have a clue how to deal with that. And they get sucked down this rabbit hole that is just a terrible situation with the credit cards. And I've been like, there's a reason why I can talk about some of this stuff because I've fallen victim to it in different ways myself, learning the hard way they tell about it. So, um, they say we teach about what we need to learn.
Yeah. that- it- That's yeah, that's common.
Yes. And it was interesting, the mindset part of it. I had said, God, if you're gonna expect me to do this, you've got to put some people in my life to help me. And all of a sudden, some people were popping up that I wasn't expecting to get connected with whatsoever. And anyway, that's what led to different things. And one of the other things somebody said to me, well, Lorley, what about not just teaching them financial literacy? What about showing them what to do with their money? In addition, I said, well, I planned on doing that because most of the courses out there don't give any practical things. And then this gentleman said, well, Lorley, what about if you showed them how to run an online business? And I said, well, I don't know how to run an online business. This is why I'm trying to find out. Lo and behold, BeeKonnected was introduced to me back in August of 2022 with Blaney Teal. And I was like, third time I was hacked, oh, excuse me, cloned on Facebook for the third time. And when you have that, the Instagram gets connected. But I had always had, when LinkedIn's been on, I don't know how long LinkedIn's been on, but I had an account in the first 2 or 3 years as a financial planner. So I had an account a long time, and it was getting hacked. And thankfully, I don't think anybody ever gave in to the scammers because they would call me or send me a message and say, are you okay? Like, what's going on? Do you really need help or what's going on? And it's because I think my classification was retirement specialist that they figured that I was connected to people that had money. And that part was true. But they thought that maybe they would be more willing to help me out. I don't know. But so when I heard that there was no bots, no scammers, and this was a business platform, oh, and if you really want to, make your experience better, it's $50 a month. I went, I'm in. Give it to me.
Yeah, that is a good thing. It really is.
Mm,
I've been locked out from LinkedIn last fall for
Yeah, yeah, I remember you
over
telling
2
me that,
weeks.
and I've had my account. It's so to me, it's so funny. I got rid of my LinkedIn account, and then I started over about a year ago. And I didn't even know how to. I was trying to connect with more people so I could stream on there, and you needed to have 500 connections. Now remember, I started over with none again,
Yeah.
uh, and I was doing something too fast. I was popping up people's names, like I did a search and I popped them up and I thought, okay, now I'll go copy and paste and send them a message instead of just saying connect. And I was doing that too fast. They thought it
Yep.
was a bot.
Yep.
And they locked me out for, I think, a couple of days at first. And then the second time it happened, didn't learn my lesson. I did it too fast again. And they locked me out for a week. But at least this time they let me, even though that's a bot, I got to fill out this questionnaire about, no, it's not a bot. Look, I only had 300 and some members. Who's going to pay for a bot that has that few members? This is how
Mhm.
I did it. And that's why I was so fast. But thank you for thinking this little old Grammy's fast. But I still was locked out for a week.
Yep. But
Mhm.
now you are very active on BeeKonnected instead.
Mm, that's absolutely true. Sure, right after I did this, Ms. Hoffman reached out to me and said, Lorley, we're planning on doing some of these things. Would you like to be involved? And I was like, sure. I'm not used to speaking in public on a virtual stage. It's one thing to talk to people.
Yeah.
It's totally different. I thought, sure, I'm game for that. Cool. So I did that, and then another month or so went by, and she asked if I was interested in doing even more, being more involved. And I went, really? Cool. So we set up some meetings, and I thought, I don't have much of a following. I am connected to some really powerful people, but I think I had 1,600 Facebook friends, and I really was not that active on it. But uh, on BeeKonnected, I've been more than active. I've really taken on and stepped out of my comfort zone to do many things on there that I had never done before. And we get a chuckle in this house, even though I've used a computer for over 40 years. Because I start, no, not for, pardon me. I'm trying to think. Mid 90s, we had a computer here at the house, which
Yeah.
was not common. But I had a quite a nice computer for that time at the house when I knew lots of businesses didn't have one. And I had to write DOS, and I hated it. That part, I just hate it. But so we laugh that even though I've been on a computer a long time, I've not, um, I don't think of myself as techie.
No. But it's very easy to do things on BeeKonnected. So it's very conveniently set up so that it's easy to do things.
Absolutely.
And it's easy to get connections. And it's so
Mm.
cool that you can get connections that are kind of vetted for you.
Oh my gosh, yes. The way the connection generator, which by the way is my favorite, and I'm sure it's the favorite of so many people, that you can, all you have to do is take 5 to 10 minutes, fill out your profile, and this AI connection generator will take and give you suggestions of people that you have the same interests, the same likes. Um, so it gives you suggestions all the time, but which is wonderful. And you go through and you just click on and see their profile and say, "Oh, I think I'd like to connect with that person."
Yeah,
And that's how you and I met on this platform.
absolutely. And
Yes.
I think the other way around is also very good, that if you ask somebody to connect and that person doesn't want to do it for some reason, I
Mhm.
don't know why you wouldn't want to connect with you, but I mean the principle is that they can say no, I don't want to,
Yeah.
and they won't give their information away to
Correct.
you. So
Correct.
so
It'd be
you
like having a private account.
it's more safe for
Yes.
me.
Oh, yes, a lot more safe. You're right in that respect. And what I really loved about it was the second thing for me was that everybody gets to see your post.
Yeah.
That's huge. That
Mm.
really is huge. And we're allowed to promote our shows coming up and like that are coming up in the future. And people can, just click on them and the invitation where they registered is also they click on that and that's the replay. You don't have to turn around and send out a replay to someone else.
Exactly. And also, oh, what was I gonna say? I forgot.
It'll come
Ah,
back to you.
I lost my thought. It's time to start thinking of the end of this talk. And is there anything about what you're going to do in the future now that you
Oh,
want
for
to
me,
share?
I look forward to teaching people how to maneuver and around the platform, how easy it is, and to be coaching more people, especially women, on the mindset and money management out there. Plus, I'm working on setting up my nonprofit. I need to tweak that a little bit. It is not officially there yet, and I wanted it a specific way so that I got the Google and the Microsoft ads, which would be so powerful for it. So that's not as easy a step to do as just setting up a nonprofit. Um, but anyway, that I have a lot of dreams and aspirations going
Yes,
forward.
and we need to have more steps to walk. So it's good to have some steps ahead that we actually dream about,
Yes, yes,
because that
I
helps us
really,
move forward.
yes, I'm so blessed to have the opportunity that Be Connected is offering us to do, and because normally you'd never get a chance, with a company that does a startup, or I wouldn't think this little old Grammy from New Brunswick, Canada, would ever have the opportunity to.
Well, you're speaking to another little old granny, so I mean,
But
there
we're
are lots of
visionaries.
us. There are
We're
lots of us in
pioneers.
here, pioneers in the new world. Absolutely. It's been really nice talking to you, and I you have a very interesting story of how you ended up where you are today, and so much. I mean, if you continue helping young people with money issues or money thinking, that
Mhm.
is a gift to the world. Really, a real good gift to the world.
Well, thank you. It's coming through me. This wisdom isn't like I didn't sit thinking I'd ever be doing that. It's been passed down to me to give me a push to do this.
Yeah, thank you so much. And if you want to see this interview again, or this talk, or whatever you would call it, then go to the left hand side here. You have my BeeKon leadership group, and join that. Click the link and join that, and you can watch the replay, and you can see also the other sessions of this show for for more interesting thoughts around Be Connected and leadership and stress management
Mhm.
combined. Thank you so much. Bye bye.
Thank you. Have a great day and a better tomorrow.